Since starting the primitive reflex exercises, I have wanted to get a side-by-side video, or maybe it's more a before and after video that then we can place side-by-side with the after. But I wanted to get a close-up of all of the reflexes, one on another family member of ours that hasn't retained them, and then one on Elisabeth and Jacob who have retained them, and then to see to what degree they have retained them. So we're gonna get all of those filmed, and then I'll do a voiceover kind of explaining what we're doing, what we're looking for, and what's happening. All right, so in these clips, we are testing the root and suck primitive reflex and the snout reflex. This one where we're stroking the jawline and then from the nose to the tip of the mouth is the root and suck reflex. And this is what it looks like when it is completely integrated. This little movement here is testing the snout reflex. And this is also what it looks like when it's fully integrated. So here's Elisabeth's, and she is a lot more responsive with her mouth. But what should happen if it's not integrated is that those muscles in the mouth want to move toward what is stroking the cheek. And so I feel like we have a little bit of that going on, that it's probably not 100% integrated, but it's not severely not integrated. And this is what allows babies, when they're little, to know that they need to turn their head toward food. So that's why you can stroke a baby and they'll turn towards it. This should be integrated early on, in the first year. All of these should be integrated by the time the child is 12 months old. This is Elisabeth's snout reflex. You can see that when you touch the top middle of her lip, that the sides of her mouth want to go in and make a little like snout shape, kind of like a pig's nose. So that's what it is. It brings those lips together. And so you can see she's doing it on some of them, not doing it on others. So we have some partial integration, but it is still present. So this is actually a significant improvement from before we started trying to integrate the primitive reflexes. But you can see that Jacob's mouth still twitches there on the edge, and it looks like he's kind of fighting turning towards it. But he's definitely has a lot of muscle twitching and reacting happening with it. There you go. He had a little bit of a twitch towards that. And so mostly it looks like it's getting integrated well. And he's a lot less responsive on this reflex than Elisabeth was. Oh my gosh, he's so cute. All right, this is called the Palmer's grasp, where when you touch a baby's hand with your finger, when they're really little, you put something there and it will immediately grasp it. When it's fully integrated, you can stroke that like I am, and the hand can stay open. And you might still have some ticklish spots, but that's not necessarily the Merle reflex. Remember, primitive reflexes are involuntary. So with Elisabeth, she's got a little bit of it going on. You can see I can do several strokes initially, and then her fingers tend toward, like she's going to grab whatever's touching that middle part of her palm. Her wrist is popping up. And so when these things are integrated, it is going to affect the fine motor skills. There we go. You can see I'm trying to flatten it out because sometimes she just gets in a rhythm of grasping toward it, but I want it to try to be cleanly from the reflex. All right, here is Jacob's Palmer grasp. This one seems to be pretty strong in him. You can touch that and immediately he wants to go to grab whatever is in there. So this is his right hand. If we were going on a scale from 1 to 4, Travis would be a 0 for both hands. Elisabeth would be like a 2 for her right hand, a 3 for her left hand. Jacob would be a 4 on his right hand. And here with the left hand, we've definitely got a strong reflex. So I'd give it a 4, which in a 4 is not integrated, and a 1 is fully integrated. Here we're testing the Babinski reflex. So you stroke up that outer side of the foot, and if the toes flare out, as you can see my fingers are flaring out, then it is not integrated. But if you can stroke that and the toes stay normal, or they even go in as if they were going to press on the floor, then we have fully integrated it. So I'd give him a 1 on both feet here. All right, here's Elisabeth. This is her right foot, and she's got some nice toe flaring going on there, which the purpose of this reflex, when it's fully integrated, allows the toes to curl down, which allows, as the baby learns to walk, allows them to balance more. It allows them to feel where their foot is on the floor, which it develops the proprioception system and allows you to know where your foot is in space and in accordance with the floor or whatever surface you're on. So I would give her right foot a 3, meaning that there's still a lot of integrating to do. And on this left foot, I would give it a 4. You have those pops up and it flares out. All right, here is Jacob. Let me see, I've crossed his leg over. So this is his left foot. And you can see on Jacob that occasionally we've got that foot wanting to flare out, but his toes are curling in. So we've been doing this particular integration for a couple of weeks now, maybe about a month. And he went from having his toes flare out to having him curl in. I've seen the most progress for him on this particular integration. Let me see, on his left foot, I'd probably give him a 2, and I'd do the same on the right foot, left and right, both at 2. All right, this reflex is called the spinal galant. And for some reason, we didn't get the footage for Travis, but he would be at a 0. Now, when you stroke on the side of the spine, if you notice the spine is curving toward the side you're stroking on, then it's not integrated. You should be able to stroke that side without having a curvature towards the side you're stroking on. So for her, she's out of those 10 strokes, she's probably somewhere at a 2 or a 1. And so we'll have to see what's going to happen on the right side. You can see that as I stroke it, she moves towards that. She's definitely got a reflex to move towards that. It's not too severe, but she's definitely still got a little bit of integrating to do here. So I'd probably give her a 2 on both sides. All right, here's Jakey. He doesn't seem to move a ton. But he does have a little bit of a jolt there on a couple of them, but most of them, he's not really moving. There's a little bit. So I'd probably give him a 2 on both sides as well. All right, right here we are testing the ATNR and the STNR, which is the asymmetrical and the symmetrical tonic reflexes. And as we're testing it, I just want you to notice when his head goes side to side, that back left elbow is really bending. When it's fully integrated, the elbows won't bend. Going side to side is the asymmetrical tonic reflex, and the up and down is the symmetrical. So in order to integrate this, what we want to do is keep his elbows straight and maintain a 90 degree at the hips, 90 degree at the shoulders, and be able to have his head go back and forth. This is something that a baby integrates when they start getting up and crawling. Now, this symmetrical one is when babies get on their hands and knees and they just start to rock forward and backward. That's what they're doing, is they're integrating this reflex. And when they do, it allows them to crawl properly, and it starts to wire their brain the way that allows them to continue developing that higher brain. And you'll see that his body is really, really resisting this. And it looks like we're being kind of rough here, but we've been doing this for over a month, and his neck is in good shape, and he's doing good, but we're trying to get him to hold that. And you see my legs are holding his
his back legs. Dad's holding his hands. There you go. He's got a little bending there in the right elbow that time. So when you do a proper symmetrical STNR, you should have a bit of that cat-cow action going on, like in yoga. But you can see his body's really, really resisting it, which is really interesting because he can crawl. But it's interesting to see that doing this movement is something his body doesn't really want to do. He really wants to bend those elbows and get those legs out. So I think that being able to integrate this movement, I'm hoping we will see a lot of progress and development for him. But he is such a champ. He's working with us and he's staying in it even though his body's resisting it. There you go, buddy. Again, I know it looks rough. That's because his body's resisting it, but he was perfectly fine. His neck's good, his back's good. So here's Elisabeth. She's having us help her put on the immobilizers. We're getting that 90 degrees and trying to stabilize her back leg so that she has that support she needs to get the movement. And Dad's playing with the hat. That's cute. Trying to keep her in a happy, playful mood. All right, head goes down, and she's actually getting some good cat-cow movement. You can see that she wants to give that little bit of an arch in her back. And up, there you go. Down. And so with this one, the temptation or the reflex is to move back and forth or to like sit down on your haunches when your head is up. Right? Or to fall down on your head when your head goes down towards your chest. But the immobilizers make that a little bit harder. You can see her body is resisting it a little bit here too. There we go. She's giggling at Dad. So this right here is the asymmetric, the ATNR, and she's actually doing really great with it. You can see that her hips kind of want to go back and forth and follow the line, but the goal is to keep the spine straight while she turns her head side to side, to keep the elbows straight while she turns her head side to side. And we're alternating between the two because it's still really hard for the kids' bodies. It really is resisting it, though that was really great. I'm not quite sure how to rate these. I would probably put them at a 4 for Jacob, both of them ATNR and STNR, as well as the 4 for Elisabeth. There's a lot of integration that can be done here. They've retained a lot of it, but they're both working so hard and they're being such good champs. Look at her, she's giggling. Good job, Dad. There we go. Her body's getting tired. Okay. Got a couple more. Good work. Good work. All right, so here we are doing the tonic labyrinthine reflex, or the TLR. And the goal here to integrate it is to be able to lay on your stomach up a little bit, arms at a 90 degree at the elbows, and to do this for about 5 minutes. And what I've noticed is that you can lay down like this for a bit, and then you start to have those hips want to pop up or roll side to side. But you need to be able to hold it without having the body resist it. I've seen a good amount of improvement since we've been doing this in both Elisabeth and Jacob. So you can see here with part of what's going on with Jacob, his body's resisting it. He wants to sit up. He wants to get those hips up again. He's actually come a long ways in this. And in order to ease that discomfort, I'm rocking him back and forth or lifting him up and down, just giving him a little bit of movement to help him stay in this position a little bit longer.
So we have finished doing all of the primitive reflex exercises and filming them on each of the kids and then on Travis to get a comparison. And in, I don't know how long, a couple weeks, month, whenever we get to it, we'll film some more and then do a side-by-side for the before and the after to see what kind of progress they're making. And along those same lines of the primitive reflex exercises we've been doing, we actually have some exciting things coming up with that we will be doing over spring break. And so stay tuned so you can see what those things are.